Hello and welcome to Bicycle Touring Talk episode number 12. Bicycle Touring Talk is based on my book, Destinations Are Fake. You can order this book on Amazon. There's a link in the description. My name is George Schlacek. I am
the one and only.
In my last episode, I was telling you about my couch surfing experience in New Orleans, how I had explored the city and spent an evening with Chuck, my host, and one of his friends watching movies. New Orleans had been nothing but good to me. Now, the morning I tried to leave, that kind of changed. Actually, my tour almost ended abruptly that day. I was trying to find my way out of the city and back onto Route US 90, which was the same highway which had brought me to the better part of 4 states and into New Orleans. Right from the start, I noticed that there wasn't any bike-friendly route. I found Route 90 and followed it, probably already annoying several motorists. At one point, I reached a left turn at a traffic light that was 2 or 3 lanes wide, packed with cars. I was quite nervous about the traffic and focused on riding safely in this mess. Then I came up on a really tall bridge, the Mississippi River. At first I was relieved because I figured that once I passed that, I'd be out of the thick traffic. But then I noticed that the bridge was down to 1 lane, there was a speed limit of 45 miles an hour, and it was construction. How was I supposed to go there when there was no way for cars to pass me? I got really nervous, and in the heat of the moment, my decision was I'm just gonna book it right up there and make it across as fast as I can. 45 miles an hour is way faster than I can go uphill with a loaded bicycle. As I'm going up the bridge, I hear the sirens behind me, and I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? There's a voice on the speaker.
Get off that bike now!
I turn around and there's a police cruiser. Behind the steering wheel, a really angry looking officer.
Put your bike in the trunk and get in the back,
he ordered. Well, this was easier said than done. My bike was packed with about 60 pounds of luggage. Try to lift that into a trunk of a police cruiser. Traffic behind us was building up, and I could feel the stares on me. Now I was really nervous and I got into the back of the car. The cruiser took off and the officer was really mad at me.
Going to jail for that.
That's the first thing he told me. I was in shock. Minutes earlier, I've been looking forward to a nice day of cycling across Louisiana. And now, I consider myself adventurous, but going to jail wasn't in my plans. I wanted to protest, but I knew better than to say anything. Was this going to be the end of my trip? I had never seen a jail on the inside in my entire life. Visions of a tiny room with iron bars and concrete walls went through my head. Oh my god. Then the officer asked me,
"What are you doing crossing this bridge with your bicycle anyways? Where are you from? Where are you going? What's up?"
Hesitant, I started telling him about my trip. I sensed that he actually kind of liked the idea, but after a moment of silence, he regained his focus and he said,
"Well, this bridge is for motorized vehicles only. Don't tell me you didn't know. There's signs on the approach."
I was genuinely puzzled because I had not seen any signs. In my head, I went through the route that I had taken. It was totally possible that I missed a sign because I was entirely focused on traffic. Finally, the officer started talking to me a bit more calmly.
"You're damn lucky you're from Canada. I'll give you a citation. There's no point putting you in jail."
I was instantly relieved, despite the prospect of having to pay quite a bit of money for my mistake. But at least, knowing that I wasn't going to jail, it meant that I would probably be back on my bike sooner rather than later. Then the police officer started talking to somebody about me over the radio, and on the other end I heard laughter. So it kind of gave me an inkling that maybe I wasn't as deep in trouble as I first thought. As we arrived on the other side of the bridge, the officer pulled into a gas station, and there was another police cruiser already there, and I saw another officer getting out of it and walking toward us. The officer stopped the car, told me to get out and get my bike out of the trunk, and
Don't you go anywhere. You wait here.
so he took off toward the other cop. I stood there quite a while, still shaking, still nervous from the last few minutes, but slowly I calmed down, because while a citation could be quite pricey, it probably wasn't gonna stop me. Finally, both officers walked toward me.
You rode your bike here all the way from Orlando?
Yes, sir, I have, and it's been an awesome trip. Next thing, I got a stern warning by both officers about how crazy New Orleans drivers were, and how I should be thankful for the rescue.
We're glad we didn't have to whop you off the pavement. Believe me, people drive like crazy here.
I admitted to my poor judgment and how I was unaware of any alternate.
The only way for bicycles is the ferry. You have to inform yourself about stuff like that.
Well, this pretty much concluded the criticism I had to endure. Before I knew it, we were engaged in a conversation about travel, about bicycle touring. The officers now started asking me questions about my trip. Where do you sleep at night? I told them about my camping adventures, how I had stealth camped in Florida and woken up in the middle of the night and cycled in the full moon. I told them about my couch surfing experiences in Panama City, in Destin, and New Orleans. I also told them about the cheap hotels I always seemed to find when there was no other place available. I had captured their imagination. I went on about how I loved the uncertainty of not knowing where I might end up for the night. But things always tended to fall into place. Both officers nodded. I still didn't know what to expect next. Then I heard the first officer say,
Well, good luck for the rest of your trip. But be careful.
The highway going this way is not very well patrolled, so you really gotta watch out. By the way, just down over there, the Waffle House, they have pretty good breakfast. You might want to stop in there.
Both cops now nodded and smiled. We shook hands before we left. They finally spoke the magic words.
Have a nice trip.
And don't get yourself in trouble down in Mexico.
The other cop added with a chuckle. I could hardly believe it. I was free. It was like a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Where was I going to go first? The Waffle House. Good reason to celebrate my freedom with a big omelette and a half a gallon of coffee. Well, this adventure got me thinking about sharing the road with motorized traffic. It can get quite hairy, downright dangerous. And that's what I'm going to talk about in my next episode. One chapter in my book is dedicated to that. If you want to catch up, you can order Destinations Are Fake on Amazon. And you can also watch one of the videos that are on the screen now. I think you'll enjoy.